Greetings, I am Louise Hay. Today, I have something vital to communicate. It begins with accepting responsibility for your words if you wish to take charge of your life. The words we use reveal our thinking. When you wake up, what are your first thoughts? What about the upcoming ones? Every morning, the majority of people say the same things. Do these ideas foreshadow a successful day, or are they fueled by grievances and anxieties? Complaining at the beginning of the day sets you up for more of the same. And what's the final thing you think about before you go to sleep? Does it reflect a sense of personal strength or scarcity? Remember, poverty isn't just about money. It can mean any part of your life that isn't flourishing. So, do your thoughts lean towards scarcity or towards strength? When I first learned that I could change my life by changing my thoughts, it was like a revelation. I discovered the science of mind philosophy at the Church of Religious Science in New York City. I didn't fully understand it at first, but something inside me knew it was right. That inner yes led me to study, read, and learn everything I could about changing my mindset. At that time, science of mind felt incredible, and I threw myself into it. I began shifting my thinking and words a bit at a time, and I noticed I wasn't complaining as much. Back then, I often felt sorry for myself and complained constantly, not realizing this only brought me more to feel sorry about. I didn't know any better at the time. No matter where you are or what you've been through, remember that you're doing the best you can with what you know right now. And as you learn more, you'll make changes. So don't be too hard on yourself about the past or even where you are now. Tell yourself, I'm doing my best. That's how you find the strength to improve. Beating yourself up only holds you back. Positive change needs a foundation of self-support. As I started paying closer attention to what I said, I realized how much I criticize myself. To counter this, I tried affirmations, though at first I didn't fully understand them. Little by little, small things started changing. I started with the simple ones, like noticing open parking spaces. I felt like I was really getting it, which made me a little arrogant and rigid in my beliefs. But it was my way of holding on to something new and uncertain. Trusting in affirmations and releasing old, rigid beliefs can be scary, especially if control has always been your comfort. This was a big shift, and while I was holding on tightly, it was just the start. There was still a lot to learn. Like most people, my path wasn't always easy. I couldn't understand why saying affirmations didn't always work and thought I must be doing something wrong. But as I learned more, I began to forgive myself and others. Imagine if you're out on the street and someone bumps into you. You might feel angry until you realize they're blind. That knowledge instantly dissolves your anger. Similarly, when we understand what shaped someone's behavior, forgiveness can become easier, allowing us to let go and feel compassion. Those who struggle with self-love often find it hard to forgive. But when you finally forgive, it opens the door to loving yourself and lifts a huge weight you may have carried for years. It's freeing, and people around you might even notice that you seem lighter. Forgiveness doesn't mean we condone hurtful behavior. It means we choose not to stay bound by it. The past is over. As I forgave others, I also learned to forgive myself. Many of us hold resentment against our inner child, blaming it for our pain. But we're only continuing the hurt we felt from others. It's a cycle that needs to end. As children, we may have had no choice in how others treated us, but as adults, we do have a choice. Mistreating ourselves now as adults is tragic. As I forgave myself, I realized I could trust myself. Our mistrust of others and life often comes from a deep mistrust in our own ability to care for ourselves in tough times. We say things like, "I'll never fall in love again because I don't want to get hurt," or "I will never let this happen." In reality, though, we're saying things like, "I don't trust you enough to take good care of me, so I'm going to stay away from everything." However, I started to trust myself enough to take care of myself, and I discovered that loving myself was getting easier and easier. Not only was my body recovering, but my heart was also recovering. Above all, I was repairing my heart. In the amazing book Love Your Disease, Dr. Harrison states that letting go of the past, which is what you're doing, and forgiving oneself and one's parents can heal more illnesses than any antibiotic ever could. According to him, it takes a lot to prevent kids from loving their parents, but it takes much more for them to forgive them once they do. The focus of therapy is typically on forgiveness. What we are actually doing is tying ourselves to the past when we refuse to forgive and let go. It is impossible to live in the present while you are mired in the past. If you can't live in the now, how can you build a bright future? Because this stuff from the past simply keeps coming back and makes more things for the future. Love Your Disease's Dr. Harrison and Love Medicine and Miracles Bernie Siegel are both amazing individuals, because they are physicians who have a spiritual outlook on life and have a thorough understanding of the interconnectedness of body, mind, and spirit. I frequently mention them. Curiously, I also learned about mirror work. It's great that I spent 5, 10, or even 20 minutes each day in front of the mirror. Being able to maintain consistency throughout the day yields better results. Before turning in for the night, I gave myself a thank you, appreciating my day's work and knowing that I had given it my all. During my sleep, I reaffirmed that my body was healing and that I would wake up feeling fantastic and rejuvenated. I would thank myself and my body, as well as everything else that came to mind, as I woke up in the morning. I would declare that the day would be enjoyable and that I was open to growing, learning, and changing. I also discovered that I didn't have to think of myself as a nasty person to improve. Our tendency to criticize ourselves is a result of the belief that we must be flawed or incorrect in order to change. It doesn't change, even though we believe it will. It's much easier to make adjustments when we start with loving acceptance. Rather than because we are horrible people who need to change, we make adjustments because we want to live better lives. When the physician declared that I was cancer-free, I realized that I had undergone significant internal transformation. You cannot improve your quality of life without working on yourself, and truly, that's what it's all about. Increasing the quality of our lives, finding inner peace, and learning to embrace and appreciate who we are. That makes life seem to go much more smoothly. What did I learn from this experience then? It made me realize that if I was prepared to alter my perspective, I could actually alter my life. As I worked with others, I started paying attention to what they had to say. I actually listened to what they were saying, not just the gist. After 10 minutes with a new client, I was able to observe how they were speaking and hear what they were saying, which allowed me to pinpoint the specific reason for their issue. I was aware that this was making things worse for them. And how must they talk to themselves if they were thinking and speaking in such a manner? More of the same negative training, or what I refer to as poverty thinking, was probably involved. The adage that the subconscious lacks a sense of humor resonated with me. You cannot create a joke about yourself and assume it has no meaning. Thus, this is crucial to understand. Your subconscious takes a put-down joke as fact if it is. Your subconscious mind, sometimes known as the universe, or whatever you want to name it, produces based on your beliefs and takes everything you say as true. We have this limitless capacity of choice, and the world supports everything, as if God constantly answers, yes. If you want to think that you're not good enough, that no one cares about you, that you'll never be anything, that life is hard, and that you'll never get what you want, the universe loves you enough to give you precisely what you ask for. You have an infinite number of options. It's expected that if you choose these poverty ideals and beliefs, that's what you want and that's what you'll receive. This pattern will continue unless you're willing to change your mind and make different decisions. We can always think of anything else, so we're never trapped. One can choose from billions and billions of ideas. When I worked with customers one-on-one, I recall listening to them defend their restrictions. Because of this or that, they would always want me to know that they were stuck. However, if we accept that we are stuck, then we are stuck, and we are stuck because our belief is being realized. We can say things as simply as waking up in the morning and observing the rain outside. We may say, "It's a bad day," or "It's a rainy day." It's a completely different strategy, but the rain will continue to fall. It is the way we go about it. Observe how joyful, contented individuals typically have very pleasant lives, and how lonely, unhappy, impoverished or sick people frequently speak. What have they come to believe to be true for themselves, and what language do they use? Please refrain from claiming that complete strangers are wrecking their lives. Don't do that with relatives or friends either. They won't enjoy it. You want to transform your life, therefore utilize this information to connect the dots that pertain to you. Are you prepared to alter the way you think in order to change your life? On a very basic level, your experiences will change if you alter the way you think and speak. Are you prepared to switch to positive affirmations in your self-talk? In reality, anything we say or think is an affirmation. A large portion of our typical thoughts and words are really unpleasant and don't lead to positive experiences. If we desire excellent outcomes, we must retrain our speech and thought patterns to be more positive. When we talk about affirmations, we mean saying good things about things we wish to change or add to our lives. We often say things like, "I don't want this in my life anymore," but that only tells part of the story. It's not enough just to express what we don't want. We also need to focus on what we do want. For instance, telling yourself, "I don't want to be sick anymore," doesn't create a clear image of the health you want. Our words are powerful, and simply complaining about a job, saying, "I hate this job," may only lead you to feel the same way in the next one. So, try expressing your desires in a positive way. Think carefully. What is it that you genuinely want right now? What do you hope to accomplish today? When you say, "I accept this for myself," also ask, "Do I believe I deserve it?" Sometimes we unintentionally hold ourselves back by feeling unworthy or thinking that life doesn't work out for us. Before you start working towards something new, ask yourself, what's your main foundation? A simple phrase like, "I love myself," or "I am deserving," can be that strong base. Positive, believable statements form the groundwork for your goals, letting you build on them with affirmations to create the life you want. When you truly believe that your thoughts shape your reality, you'll be more careful with both your thoughts and words. At first, affirmations might feel insincere, but they work like seeds. You don't see a fully grown plant right away. It takes time to grow. Just as you wait for a plant to mature, be patient with affirmations. Think of affirmations as placing an order in a cosmic kitchen. When you order food at a restaurant, you don't rush to the kitchen to check on it. You trust it's being prepared. Similarly, when you say an affirmation, trust that the cosmic chef is working on it. If doubts creep in, remind yourself, it's on order. Even if you've been working on yourself for a while, there's always more to learn. Inner growth is a lifelong journey. You might hit pauses or feel stuck at times, but it's valuable to continually reflect on what's working in your life and what isn't. Are you feeling content, successful and secure? What areas still need attention, and how can you shift your thoughts about those areas?